Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for November 10th, 2022. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, this is the reality of the world. I guess it's just okay if you say you're sorry. Hey, sorry. Oh, well, that's okay then. As long as you're sorry. Um, this is one of the reasons here. Uh, I don't like holding overnight risk in bear markets to the short side. That's a 4% adverse gap. Just don't like it. Nice move in the day, though. Here's a 30-minute charts. Quick look. So there's the gap. Cleared the previous hump. Was testing this previous resistance, and it powered right through there and finished with the second leg strong at 394. Cleared the important 390 hump, and there's a certain margin of safety now right here. And so the next target to the upside, to me, I guess, would be 400 for the psychological value, and then 404 is a previous. If we look back over there, we'd see another resistance level. But for now, this was a decisive move to the upside and kept going. Interesting that Biden quick to claim some credit for a slight lessening in the rate of inflation. His plan at work. Yeah, sure. Okay. All right. So we've got the Kata 2 reestablished. We talked about that yesterday, that if this could hold, that you could see a Kata 2 here, and it kind of blew through the PSAR dots. There's still this little the R10 has to get through there. So we're going to be mindful that this could be a one-day anomaly, but it feels pretty solid. You could see how that got it. But then yesterday was horrible, so who's that's why I don't have any overnight risk on this. Even with that nice, powerful move, no overnight risk. Bear normal. The long-term view, the 150-day look, that's that nice little turn. It's cleared that hump. The next support level up around 404 was right here. 400 is it's a psychological level only. But this is kind of 400 to me is the gateway to that second half, and that would leave all this behind and give us a couple targets to the upside. So, I mean, one day at a time. The volatility is here, and it's real, and it's good for trading. Sectors, just a quick look. Just about everything was good today. For when we're drawing that zero line. The only things that were below the line was Brazil off 6.5% and VXX off 5.5%. And so here's our S&P. We're going to see energy in the form of Devon Energy was lagging. Here's your three semiconductors. NVIDIA up 14%, Intel 8%, Texas Instruments 5.8%. So the semis were well postured today, and a little better than the metals were. So here's your metals. Here's Alcoa at +7, Cliff at 6.9, and U.S. Steel at 6.16. All of them better than the S&P, which was up 5.5. But to me, that's the superstar right there, NVIDIA. And then Devon Energy in our specials, 3.3. Quick look at our indexes. So the S&P at 5.5. It was better than Treasuries, which were 3.8. The Dow was 3.6. Emerging markets 3.6. The best performers, the Russell 6.16, and Tech screaming back at 7.38. So let's see what was left behind. S&P benchmark. So here's our first group of sectors: uranium, lumber, finance, lithium, and the other lumber between 4.9 and 5.4. That's the kind of day it was when 4.9% has you lagging. Uh, oil exploration 3.75. And then the other big cluster: Brazil, VIX, agriculture, oil, blended commodities, staples, Mexico, Aussie dollar, and marijuana between 2.9 and really flat. The only company that we follow that was underwater was Devon. That's only 3.3. All right, let's look at the upsides. The big outperformers today. Again, baseline S&P at 5.5. So material, Simon Property Group, Wheaton Precious, real estate, and discretionary up to 7%. Then biotech 7.6, S&P Tech 8.2. Now notice that's much better than the Nasdaq Tech. So this was old school tech that got favored, and there's our two bellwethers from old school tech that were better than the sector, even if slightly. 8.2 and 8.9 for Apple and Microsoft. Then you got the FANGs, Ethereum, and clean energy, 9.4 and then up to 10%. And you have the two ARCs, genomics and innovation and Bitcoin. Innovation 14.5, Bitcoin 12.5, ARC genomics 11.2. Now individual companies that crushed: Squarespace 17%, Rivian 17.5, Coinbase, Robinhood, PayPal, and the financial disruptors, 10%. So lots to choose from tomorrow, but man, talk about adrenaline-filled rage. I just take the intraday moves right now. All right, let's take a look at our sniper trade of the day. Let's put our coaching hats on here. Going to do a little sample coaching here. Sniper trade. So this is NVIDIA. We were poised for it because semis were poised yesterday. There was the close yesterday. Here was a big gap up. It broke down through the OR3, so I got short, thinking maybe it's going to come down and close the gap or at least get halfway. It reverses, so I take it at a no lose plus dinner for two. I thought about the 1, 2, 3 entry right here. This would be a 1. That's a higher low, so that's a 2. This one breaks out above bar 2 and has not made a new low. So that's what makes this a bar 3, and that makes this the 1, 2, 3 exit. And then the standard risk would have been about like that. But I was still reeling from the shell shock of the size of that gap. So I wanted to see it get above the high of the day. So it made a new high of the day, so I get long with the standard risk box. The support level is still holding. This is starting to feel interesting now. You know, the rest of the market was still getting traction. There was no evident weakness anywhere. So, you know, I'm looking at this. So, this is the first time I'm starting to feel comfortable. So, it's about this moment where I take my stop and bring that up into here like that, so that I can lock in that little wedge. No lose plus dinner for two. Now, when it clears that hump and the rest of the market is clearly uh, wide open and going, I just said, well, let me get that little R10 wiggle and go. I front run the 2R battle drill here and put the second position on. All of the semis were good. Tech was the leader, and Nvidia was the best. It holds. Third position on, same reasoning. You know, I'm riding this train. So third position on. Coming in towards the close. You know, now it's around, what time is it? Yeah, it's coming around 3:30. So just take that exit. So, you know, it was just that kind of day. It just refused to lose. Um, and it never really felt like it was a runaway move. It was just persistent buying pressure, right? And uh, tech was leading the way, and the semis were better than tech, and Nvidia was the best tech. Um, so I just stayed with that one. So this had $1 risk on it. So we're getting in about 149 and a half, and this gets out at about 156 and a half. So that's about 7 on the first position. This one from 151 to 156 is plus 5, and then 153 to 156 is about 3. So that's about 15, but you know, it never really felt like that. It just kept grinding and going, and it felt good enough. So that was the sniper trade of the day. Let's take a look at the traders. You know, on a trade, somebody asked me on a day like that, if I've got 15R in hand, wouldn't I think about an overnight risk on that? No, not with the size of that gap we saw earlier, and just the day before that thing was horrible. I want to sleep at night. But if you had to persuade me to, I'd keep 20% of it. Just don't like it. I'd rather sleep. Your mileage may vary. All right, so here's, let's see, this is, I'm trying to remember whose that was. Is this Damien? Yeah. And this is looking pretty good. He's playing the RLXD with a nice entry here, playing a manageable risk box to there. There's his, looks like 1R, 2R, 3R, about 4 hour when it crosses the, probably just a profit target. I don't necessarily like selling on the near side of the hill. This is the break of the PSAR, the flip of the PSAR, which, if I look at this, I don't know if that PSAR is drawn correctly because that flip should be occurring like right about here, and maybe it's off the chart down here like that. But the PSAR flip is really an indication that there might be legs to this move. So there was still another manageable, almost 2 more R in that. If you take the peak RL10, and this is the warning signal when it crosses the baby dragon, and a 2 bar low might have gotten you out here, would have gotten you out there. Edge of the dragon would get you here. 2 bar low would get you, 3 bar low would be here, or spine of the dragon. So I think any of those are manageable exits. I just don't like selling on the near side of the hill. I like to see it crest and come over. Just something to think about. But I also understand the power of 4R in hand. So I'm not quibbling on that one. Agnieszka in the dollar yen pair. And here is a 1, 2. She's starting the third leg, collapsing dragon short. I would rather see you get out at the PSAR flip. This feels a little late to me. But then when it does not get back to the 270. It rolls over again, and the PSAR flips with a nice tight wrist box, gets paid, re-enters, gets paid, re-enters for a micro loss. This one is a little, the PSAR flip is here, which would make, you should probably be scratching that instead of taking a 0.7. Nevertheless, 1.8 and looking good. Now that's a pretty aggressive style on a 1 minute on a Forex pair, but the dollar yen is so liquid that it's feasible. Nolan, sideways in the DAX. Here's your PSAR flip. That's your indicated entry. So that's almost a half an hour late getting in. And then when this peaks, there's the peak of the RL10. There it crosses the baby dragon. This is a 1, 2, 3 exit. That's the exit at the edge of the dragon. That's the spine of the dragon. That's the belly of the dragon. That's the PSAR flip. So if that's 1 unit of risk, that's 1 unit of gain. We gave back 0.9. That's painful. I like the PSAR flip. This was better. Good scratch. I might have tried this one as a short right here because you had a high, a lower high, a third lower high, and then a breaking of the PSAR. It would have scratched, but I think that's one you got to look at with a target of down to the VWAP. Now, when you get that and it doesn't go to the VWAP but reverses higher, I probably would have tried this. I don't know if that would have got me out, but if it does, I hope on a good day to be able to catch this. Not so much for that, but so that I can get that move. So 0.2 for the day. There's some lessons to be learned in here about preserving more gains out of the ones you had. This one is Satya. So what I need you to do on this Satya is a couple things. I need you to identify the pattern. I want you to name the pattern that you're trading. Name it. And I need a summary of your scores. And then I need some commentary, some notes about what you're seeing and what you're thinking and what you're learning. Take a look at Tim Yu's markups to see uh, what I think a really good standard is. And you're going to see that, you'll see on Griffin Cooper's here in a minute too. So having said that, this is about a 1, 2, 3 entry. That is a aggressive entry. If this doesn't work right away, this rollover, I think you should be getting out here rather than here. That's where you can be short. Then even if you don't make bank here, you should be able to at least scratch that. So that means this was slow. That's where the short should have been. This is where the cover on that one, or the exit on that one, should have been. Or if you get out here off the long, then you should be short right there because you're so close to that that can work. So long here is fine. That's a good trade. I like this short. This looks like a second short. If you've got two positions on and it's still that long and it hasn't failed, that's really remarkable guts to hold on to a double position short there. By the time this fails again, now I'm actually feeling, that's the first time that I'm feeling good about this position at all. And now you got two on here. I think I would be out at the edge of the dragon, which is about where you got out, but you stayed a little longer. This buy is late. That should be here with a stop there. That's a PSAR flip. We could be short here and you'd be crushing this. Now, same thing. I need you to identify the pattern. I want you to summarize your score. And I want you to add notes on lessons learned or things you're noticing. And again, use as a sample for your learning journal. Yeah, got to document where you were and what you're thinking about in order to be able to go back and study the state of mind, because you'll see things in a different way. And without those markups on the chart, you won't remember where you were, and you'll get a distorted memory. So we got to be detailed in the moment. Woj, now he's coming up on 3,000 trades here. Let's see. So this first one was like, that's a PSAR flip and tried short, takes the 1 hour loss, stop and reverse, gets paid for 2.3. I'd have been really tempted in here for a second, but you stop trading. Again, you're supposed to alert us. And start trading on the collapse. So starts trading here. Gets paid for 1.8, leaving about 20 on the table. 1.8, and then XRP gets paid. So this is not optimized by any means. On a wonderful day, you would hope that we could get some of that breakout. But even so, this is outstanding timing and gets paid. So 5 for the day, and here I am complaining. That's good work. Okay, Griff is reinstituting the Kata 2 challenge. He's using diamonds here. 3 minute. He's got the R10, the RL10 color coded with the 4 seasons of MACD. Now, what that tells him is, here is that sharp, harsh move into the winter, which makes the PSAR interesting. That's the SSC, but he's playing the Kata 2, so it's up, down, and up. He gets it here at the edge of summer, holds it through summer, fall, summer. You could even think about adding a position there, but brings in 2. A little later for the, or was that yesterday? No, here's the, that was diamonds. This is Brazil. I'm sorry. So here's Brazil. Notice the size of the range stat. So the range stat Sometimes you'll see us write it as the R stat or the range stat. That is the average range of the last 30 days plus one standard deviation of those 30 data points. And we think of that as the maximum reasonable intraday move. Maximum reasonable intraday move. So if it goes that far, we're not surprised. And he hangs it from the top, and so a move down to this price level here, that's not allowed to be surprising. So 29 was in range from 30 and a half. You can see it made most of that. It made most of that move. He gets the, there was a COTA 2 available short here. He does take this one. I think this is where he started trading. And brings in 4. There was a COTA 2 available right here too, because you got a low, a higher low after the winter. But this was the window in which he was trading. But that's a COTA 2. You wouldn't lose money on that trade. So nice work from the team. And we'll finish up with the reports for today. Dashboard 1, bear normal. Really nice, powerful move. Is this enough to break the bear's back? I don't know, but there's a lot of warning signs for potential dead cat bounces. The volatility is in a position where it supports large moves in either direction. Diamonds, Caterpillar, 3M have been strong. Tesla still lagging, although Alcoa had a good day today. It's relatively worse off compared to the peer group. All these things that did not make new highs, they are suspect. Here's where the strength was. Dow, Goldman, Home Depot, IBM, Intel, Microsoft, Tesla. I think Apple, Microsoft to me are the no-brainerest of all. Because if tech is in resurgence and conservative tech and XLK beat the Qs, then Apple and Microsoft represent that with even a little extra juice. So I think you got to respect that. Brazil was the notable exception to the rule today. And he's at 3.2 to 1. Oil gave back a lot of its strength, but otherwise, anything you want. To me, XLK is the one to watch. I like the rebound in U.S. real estate because now, when the defensive plays are working as well, on the days when tech has given up some gains, that now makes real estate back in play. So that's good. I want to go right to the snipers. Whoops. No snipers today, or no Godzillas today. Except VXX. I'm looking at the one-day movers for the things that had the biggest relative Z-score for the one-day move, and I'm just reading from the top down for things that I recognize, right? Home Depot, Conagra, Chicago Board of Exchange for Financial Services, 5 Sigma move. And then the ones that are large on the 5-day Z-score but quieted out today makes you wonder, is their run done already? But otherwise, I'm really looking for the double greens as the ones that are in play and continuing to have larger than normal moves. In our sniper set, or the tactical set. These are the sniper stats. I'm looking at Brazil, Bitcoin, real estate, and tech. To me, I think are the interesting plays for tomorrow. And Brazil. So I would add Brazil. Brazil, real estate, tech, Microsoft if you have to, and a continuation in Nvidia. I'd like to see some more of that. That was pretty good. Um, the interesting ones are the ones that did not participate. McDonald's, which has been so good, that feels like people took a lot of their McDonald's earnings from their Happy Meals and then dumped it into the new leadership in tech. That feels really odd. And then Brazil and Latin America both gave up. I think that's money that was made on the upside when everything else was suffered has now been shifted and rolled back into key winners. Finance, real estate, Euro-Asia, mid-caps, the big broad indexes are getting rewarded. Even Japan was good. All right, that's everything we got for today. We'll get this published and posted. Thanks for your kind attention and your patience.